During our Christmas dinner, my wife mocked my stutter in front of her entire family. As I tried to laugh it off, she taunted me, saying, "Look at him, stumbling over his words like a broken machine. Maybe if we restart him, he'll finally speak properly." Her father applauded her with a high five. I quietly gathered their plates, listening to their laughter echoing from the kitchen. Fast forward 6 months, and there she was, shouting outside my apartment window. Her sister's text begged me to answer, but that day, for the first time, I found my voice unmistakably clear. Lisa, my 27-year-old wife, and I had been married for 3 years and together for 5. My stutter has been a part of me since childhood, usually mild, but worsening under pressure. Lisa once told me it was endearing, her exact word. At least, that's what I believed. Recently, things had felt off between us, small details suggesting a deeper rift. Lisa had been more irritable lately, spending increasing amounts of time glued to her phone, giggling at messages and quickly turning the screen away whenever I approached. I dismissed it as holiday stress, knowing her family took their celebration seriously. Then came the incident at Christmas dinner. We arrived at her parents' house on Christmas Eve, and initially, everything seemed perfectly normal. Her dad, Kobe, 58, was absorbed in a football game. Her mom was busy in the kitchen, and her sister Madeline was there with her husband. Yet, the car ride had been strange. Lisa seemed distant, more preoccupied with checking her makeup in the mirror than usual. Though, at the time, I didn't give it much thought. During dinner, her family asked about our plans for the new year, and I began to explain how we were saving up for a trip to Colorado. As I tried to speak, my nerves started showing, exacerbated by Kobe's habit of interrupting, which always threw me off balance. And that's when everything changed. Out of nowhere, Lisa launched into a dramatic and exaggerated imitation of my stutter. It wasn't just a quick tease, it was a full-blown spectacle. "We're going to see a Colorado in the spring," she said, twisting her face into expressions I'd never even made. The room went silent, everyone at the table caught off guard. But then her dad broke the tension by bursting into laughter. I forced a smile, unsure of what else to do in such an awkward situation, especially sitting at her family's dinner table. Initially, I dismissed it as a tasteless joke that had crossed the line. Later, I decided to bring it up with her, hoping for an apology or at least an understanding. But she just looked at me with a sneer, saying, "Look at him, struggling like a broken machine. Maybe if we turn him off and on again, he'll learn to speak like a normal person." To my shock, her dad actually high-fived her. Her mother shifted in her seat, clearly uneasy, but remained silent, while her sister Madeline fixated on her plate, not daring to glance up. I quietly excused myself from the table and began clearing away the dishes. As I stood by the sink scraping leftovers into the trash, the sounds of their laughter drifted in from the dining room. I overheard Kobe making a jab about how I seem unable to stand up for myself, and Lisa quickly chimed in, "I know, right." The drive home was heavy with silence, the only sound being the quiet tapping on her phone screen. She smirked at something she read, oblivious to the tension between us. When we finally reached home, I mustered up the courage to confront her. She merely shrugged it off, rolling her eyes dismissively. "It was just a joke," she said. "Gosh, you're so sensitive. This is why people struggle to be around you." As I lay in bed that night, sleep eluded me, my mind replaying the evening's events. The memory played on a loop in my mind, the realization hitting me like a cold wave. This probably wasn't the first time she'd made fun of me. It was just the first time she had the audacity to do it to my face. The next morning, while Lisa was in the shower, her phone buzzed ceaselessly. Curious, I glanced over to see a notification from one of her friends. "Oh my God, that video of him stuttering during dinner was hilarious. Your dad's reaction was priceless," it read. My heart sank. She had recorded my awkward moment, turned it into a joke, and shared it with her friends for entertainment. When she emerged from the shower, I somehow managed to keep my calm as I confronted her. Her response was a dismissive shrug. "It's just on my private story." "Chill out," she said, as if that made it acceptable. Determined to uncover the whole truth, I began to dig deeper over the following days. I logged into our shared cloud account where we store our phone backups, and what I discovered was both shocking and painful. There was an entire folder filled with videos she'd taken of me during moments where I fumbled over my words. She had added captions like "hubby.exe has stopped working" and "buffering," poking fun at my struggles. To my dismay, her friends had left comments, making it clear that they'd been in on the mockery for months. It wasn't just her friends. I found text messages between her and her dad where they ridiculed me. There were also conversations with her friends discussing how embarrassing it was to be seen with me in public. In one message, she even admitted to telling people I had a mental disability to avoid questions. I was devastated. What on earth? I realized, without a doubt, that I need to get out of this toxic situation immediately, but I'm determined to handle this wisely. First things first, I'm compiling all the evidence of screenshots, videos, everything. I've gathered comprehensive information on our finances and made copies of all the important documents. I'm preparing my exit plan, making sure I have everything I need to leave this chapter behind. I discreetly moved our belongings to a compact storage unit that I rented just last week, paying in cash to keep things under the radar. I've been quietly seeking legal advice, and my lawyer emphasized the importance of maintaining a sense of normalcy as I carefully arrange my plans. So here I am, continuing the facade of the devoted husband while strategically laying the groundwork for my next steps. I've begun discreetly transferring small amounts of money into a separate account. My lawyer assures me it's entirely legal, as it falls within the realm of reasonable personal expenditures. Meanwhile, I'm on the hunt for an apartment somewhere Lisa would never think to visit. I'm also taking inventory of what's truly mine as opposed to our shared property. For the past week, I've been retreating to the couch at night, attributing it to an imaginary back problem, a small piece in the delicate puzzle I'm assembling. Lisa was too absorbed in her phone and social outings to even notice. Caught up in her whirlwind of distractions, she didn't take a moment to question anything. The toughest part is wearing the mask, pretending everything is perfectly fine, nodding along as she talks about future plans, plastering on a smile when her dad calls, trying to act normal. Even when every nerve in my body screams to confront her about the videos, the text this blatant betrayal, but I'm giving her no warning. The day I walk away will be the moment she truly understands the depth of what she's lost. I still find it hard to believe this is happening. 5 years together, and I never imagined she had this side. Or maybe, deep down, I just refused to see it. Every time I stuttered in public, her frustration was palpable. The sudden headache she claimed to have, the way she would jump in and answer questions for me at social gatherings, it wasn't out of protection. It was her embarrassment shining through. Tomorrow, I have an appointment with the lawyer. Our apartment lease is jointly in our names, but it's due for renewal next month, which seems like perfect timing. I've already found a decent spot closer to my work. The landlord is laid back, and I could move in as early as next week if I decide to go for it. I can't stop replaying that Christmas dinner in my mentor careless laughter, her dad's enthusiastic high five, and the way her eyes betrayed a look that saw me as flawed. It just keeps echoing in my head. But here's where things stand now. My stutter is just a small part of who I am, and soon, she won't be a part of my life either. I'll share more when I can, but right now, my main goal is to leave this situation with my self-respect intact. If anyone has been through something similar, I would be grateful for your advice. Update. First, a heartfelt thank you to everyone who reached out after my last post. I read every message, even if I couldn't reply to all, and your support has been a beacon of strength during the most bizarre and challenging month of my life. Many of you have been asking for an update, and I finally have one to share. To quickly recap, my wife, Lisa, who's 27, cruelly mocked my stutter during Christmas dinner in front of her entire family. I later found out she'd been secretly recording my stuttering episodes for months to show her friends. This revelation set me in motion to plan my exit. There was something I left out of my initial post for the sake of privacy, which has become increasingly relevant to work in the IT department at the same company where Lisa also. I've recently been promoted to an account manager position. Interestingly, I won't be working on the same floor or even in the same building most days. Yet, we still share the same employer. What a small world, right? But this isn't just some random coincidence. 5 years ago, we crossed paths at a company happy hour, and ever since, it seems like all the pieces are falling into place perfectly. Oh, and speaking of life changes, I mentioned I was on the hunt for a new apartment, didn't I? Well, I signed the lease 3 weeks ago. It's nothing extravagant, just a modest 1-bedroom in an older building, but it's all mine. Sure, the security deposit took a big chunk out of my savings, but it's worth every cent. I've been gradually moving my essentials into the new place whenever Lisa isn't around. Clothes, electronics, important documents, family photos, you name it. My lawyer advised capturing all the details of our finances before making any major decisions. So, I started screenshotting everything, from our joint bank accounts to credit card statements. And what do you know? It turns out Lisa has been spending way more than I ever imagined on designer items, which she keeps hidden in the back of her closet, tags still hanging on. I stumbled across something surprising. For handbags, each costing over $800, purchased in just the past 2 months from our joint account. But that was only the beginning. As I pieced this puzzle together, I uncovered another layer of deceit. Lisa had been charging personal dinners as client meetings at her job. How did I unearth this? She used our shared credit card for her girls' nights out. Yet she also submitted these same receipts to her company as business expenses. This wasn't a rare occurrence. She had been double-dipping at least 18 times over the past year. Things took an intriguing turn when it became clear there was a work connection to all this. You see, at my company, it's my team that manages the expense reports software, with me playing a key role. Part of my job involves not only maintaining the system, but also occasionally assisting the accounting department with technical issues related to these reports. I stumbled upon this information quite unexpectedly. It essentially landed in my lap. Lisa had put in a request to unlock some of her expense reports for editing. As per standard procedure, these requests require verification before they can be approved. Recognizing the potential conflict of interest, I chose to step aside from processing her request. Ethics. Right. However, I did express my concerns about possible discrepancies in her expense reports to my team lead. My intentions were purely professional, driven not by our personal relationship, but by my duty, an employee adhering to company protocol. Honestly, I wasn't even sure my apprehensions would lead to anything significant. My team lead took it seriously and forwarded the matter to accounting for a routine audit. As it turns out, they uncovered a pattern. Interestingly, just the week before, Lisa had talked about an upcoming business trip 3 days away for a regional meeting, about 4 hours drive. She was genuinely excited about it, mentioning how it was a great opportunity to network with senior management. To the now empty apartment, and her best friend discovered some rather incriminating text messages on her phone. She was all set for her weekend getaway, completely unaware of the whirlwind brewing back home. By the time she realized what was happening, it was too late. Thursday morning, as she zipped up her suitcase, she was oblivious to the fact that her life was about to take a drastic turn. As she hit the road, unaware, I set my plans into motion. I rented a small moving truck and, with the help of 3 trusted friends, cleared out all my belongings except for anything we had acquired together. I made sure to leave those behind, along with her grandmother's ring on the kitchen counter, a symbol of untold stories and forgotten memories. I took my cat with me, a loyal companion from before our relationship began, whom she never really warmed up to anyway. By the time the sun began to set on Thursday evening, it was as if I had vanished, leaving no trace. I even filled the nail holes where my posters once adorned the walls. The timing was a perfect storm, at least for me. While she enjoyed her escape, three pivotal things unfolded. An audit of her expense reports made its conclusions. Our landlord initiated the lease renewal process, and her best friend stumbled upon damning text messages. Truth unraveled as effortlessly a loose thread in a worn tapestry. Life, as she knew it, was about to change forever. I found myself facing a whirlwind of events all at once. Notice demanding signatures. My lawyer finalizing the divorce papers. It wasn't something I had anticipated to converge simultaneously. Yet sometimes life's timing is uncanny. My lawyer suggested I leave a straightforward note, void of emotional language or accusations, to inform her about the divorce proceedings. Just the plain facts. So, I wrote, "Lisa, I have moved out and filed for divorce. For any communications, please reach out through my lawyer. Their contact information is attached. I've transferred half of our joint funds into my separate account and have left all the household items we bought together. Warren." In addition, I emailed our landlord to state I wouldn't be renewing our lease, making sure to copy Lisa in so she wouldn't be caught off guard by what's next. Lisa returned from her trip on Sunday evening. I knew this because my phone buzzed with a flurry of messages from her. First came the text at 7:43 p.m., "Where the hell are you? Where's all your stuff?" followed closely by another at 7:47 p.m. "Seriously, you're just going to walk out while I'm not there? That's really mature." At 8:02 p.m., I got a text from Lisa saying I took money from our account, and how her dad insists that's illegal. By 8:16 p.m., she was blowing up my phone with messages demanding I pick up. "Warren, this isn't a joke." She had called me 19 times that evening, but I didn't pick up. Later, around 10 p.m., her sister Madeline reached out. "Warren, Lisa is really upset," she said. "I know my sister can be a handful, but isn't this a bit much? Can't you just talk to her?" I replied, "Madeline, I appreciate you looking out for your sister, but this is something Lisa and I need to sort out privately. Please understand my decision." On Monday morning, Lisa found herself in a meeting with HR and her boss. I had no idea about it. I was preoccupied setting up my new place, getting more comfortable and exploring every corner with her usual curiosity. I'm in my home office, sipping coffee and settling into this new routine. I wouldn't have known about the latest office drama if Harper from accounting hadn't sent me a quick text. "Hey," she said, "not sure if I should share this, but there's some chaos happening in Lisa's department. Something related to expense reports. Just thought you might want to know." I told her thanks, but left it at that. After all, it's no longer my circus or my monkeys. I couldn't believe it when I learned that the divorce papers were delivered to Lisa that same afternoon, at work, of all places. I hadn't scheduled it that way. The service company chose the timing after I provided them with her details. Delivering legal documents to someone already enduring the worst Monday ever. It's a tough situation. It's been 3 days since then, and my new place is slowly starting to feel like home. My cat is getting used to it, too, exploring every nook and cranny with her adventurous spirit. As for me, I'm embracing this fresh start. I'm finding my footing pretty well in this new chapter of life. The open space is doing wonders. It's like I can breathe again, and I feel a sense of freedom and happiness I didn't know I was missing. In a move to keep our communication strictly professional, I've blocked Lisa everywhere except email, which is still necessary for dealing with the divorce process. Meanwhile, I've come to learn through mutual acquaintances that Lisa is currently suspended due to some troubling discrepancies in her expense reports. She's spinning this wild story to everyone, claiming that I've hacked into her work account to frame her, which couldn't be further from the truth. Apparently, her father is even consulting a lawyer to take legal action against me. Lisa's been forced to have some uncomfortable conversations with her landlord, explaining why she might not be able to cover the rent on her own anymore. The barrage of texts from her hasn't let up, though their tone shifts constantly. Monday night, it was the accusatory, I can't believe you would humiliate me like this at work. By Tuesday morning, it swung to a petulant grievance. This is about Christmas, isn't it? It was one joke. Get over yourself. Later that afternoon, things took a more serious turn with, my dad says what you did with the money is financial abuse. By Wednesday morning, there came a plea. Please, just talk to me. We can work this out. That night, it was an apology wrapped in defense. I'm sorry about the stutter thing. Okay. Is that what you want to hear? I've kept silent through it all because, as my lawyer assures me, I've got a strong case. The division of finances was fair. I didn't claim anything that wasn't rightfully mine. I have all the documentation to back it up, including the mocking videos she made and the texts involving her dad. Is there a small part of me that feels a pang of guilt about how swiftly things turned upside down for her in just 72 hours? Perhaps a little, but then I remember the way she used to laugh at my expense, and that feeling quickly fades away. When my dad shared videos of me struggling with my speech, calling me a broken machine, it hurt deeply. But since moving out, I've found peace. The relentless anxiety from fearing I was being recorded is gone, and I'm finally sleeping and eating better. My therapist says it's typical for people to feel a massive relief after leaving a toxic environment. My journey involves continuing with the divorce, sticking with therapy, and focusing on rebuilding my life. Right now, dating and on my radar need to prioritize self-improvement first. Though this message is long, I wanted to share everything that's been happening. I'll update again if anything major shifts. It's been 6 months since my last update, and I thought my story was settled. I had moved out, initiated the divorce, and life was slowly falling back on track. But then, something happened yesterday. Before I dive in, thanks for all the incredible support it helped guide me through some of the darkest times. A heartfelt shout out to my fellow stutterers who reached out. Knowing I'm not alone has meant more than words can express. The past 6 months have been nothing short of transformative. Yes, I know that sounds cliché, but it's true. My apartment is truly my own now, filled with nerdy Star Wars posters and a gaming setup in the living room. No one to complain about it anymore. My cat, Pixel, has taken over the sunniest spot by the window, reigning over her little kingdom. Sure, the dishwasher needs fixing, and the upstairs neighbor has an odd taste in bass-heavy music, but this place feels like home. I've been working with a speech therapist twice a month not to fix my stutter, but to equip myself with better coping mechanisms in stressful situations. She's been teaching me breathing techniques that have really helped me feel more in control when words become tangled. Work has also been surprisingly great. I was assigned to a new project that lets me work from home 3 days a week. My team lead, Harper, has been wonderful and even invited me to her birthday celebration last month. It was just drinks at a local bar, but it felt amazing to grow my social circle a bit. While the legal wrangling of divorce trudged forward at a pace slower than I'd hoped, the process was steady. Lisa initially put up a fight, then fell silent for a stretch. Her lawyer reached out to mine sporadically, attempting to negotiate terms, but nothing significant came of it. Last update, we were on track to finalize everything in about a month. In the meantime, I started taking care of myself by hitting the gym 3 times a week. It's nothing too intense, but I've shed 12 pounds and sleep like a log now. It's incredible how life changes when you clear out constant stress. Now, on to Lisa. From what I've gathered through our shared network and occasional updates from my lawyer, she was indeed fired over that whole expense report debacle, not just suspended, but fully terminated. She tried to pin it on me, even accusing me of hacking her accounts, but the evidence was pretty damning. She ended up moving back in with her parents for a spell. Talk about a rough patch. Eventually, she found a new job, though it's a step down from her former gig. Her dad stopped threatening legal action once he got legal advice that there was no case to be had. Following my lawyer's advice, I've kept her blocked on everything except email, yet I occasionally receive messages from anonymous numbers that are unmistakably from her. On March 12th, One said, "Warren, please just talk to me, I'm struggling here." Then again on April 3rd, "I lost my job because of you. I hope you're happy." By April 17th, she sent, "My dad says you planned this whole thing from the beginning. Was Christmas just a pretext?" I never replied, just documented everything and forwarded it to my lawyer. Interestingly, Lisa's sister, Madeline, reached out several times too. Initially, she was firmly in Lisa's corner, firing off long-winded messages about how families should resolve issues and how we're all prone to mistakes. Surprisingly, about 2 months ago, her tone shifted. Her messages became terse and less protective of Lisa. Last month, she even apologized for not speaking up during the infamous Christmas dinner incident. Yesterday felt like a normal Saturday as I embraced the calm. I woke up, whipped up some breakfast, and tried to savor the stability in my life for once. As I sipped my coffee that afternoon, I balanced a bit of leisure gaming with a session of Elden Ring and catching up on laundry. Around 2, I decided to indulge myself with a pizza delivery and settled in for a cozy evening with that new must-watch sci-fi series everyone's been raving about. At precisely 6:18 p.m., as I glanced at my phone, a sudden, frenzied pounding startled me, echoing through the door with an urgency that belied a calm evening. Peeking through the peephole sent a jolt to my stomach. There stood Lisa, disheveled in jeans and a crumpled t-shirt. Mascara tracks evidence of tears. Instinctively, I froze. My heart raced as I hesitated, watching Lisa persistently knock, calling my name in distress, her voice growing louder with burgeoning desperation. Uncertain and overwhelmed, I found myself retreating from the door, muting the TV as if to mute the turmoil outside. My mind spun, hoping she'd abandon her attempts and leave, but Lisa remained steadfast. The knocking subsided, only for her pleas to rise again, this time outside my living room window. My second-floor apartment faced her determined cries from the grass below, her eyes pleading from a depth I hadn't seen before. I quickly drew the blinds as my phone buzzed with concern. Madeline's messages seemed to plead through the screen. Madeline, 6:32 p.m. Warren, Lisa's having a really rough time. She just found out her boyfriend's been unfaithful, and she's breaking down. Is she with you? I replied, "Yes. She's shouting outside my window right now." Madeline, 6:34 p.m. I'm sorry. She left my place an hour ago. I tried to hold her back. Madeline, 6:35 p.m. Please, just talk to her for a moment. I'm really worried she might do something drastic. Perplexed, I responded, "That's not my responsibility anymore." Madeline, 6:37 p.m. She's been getting help. Warren, she knows she messed up. Please, just give her 5 minutes. I'm heading over, but it'll take me at least 20 minutes. My eyes lingered on Madeline's message, while Lisa's voice continued to drift upwards. I sat there, phone in hand, feeling the weight of the moment squeeze my heart, knowing the neighboring windows also watched this unexpected, emotive drama unfold. Finally, after 6 long months, I did something I hadn't thought possible. I opened the window. The confrontation that unfolded was something I hadn't anticipated. Standing outside, Lisa looked up at me, mascara streaked down her face, a testament to the emotions we were about to untangle. For a fleeting moment, I felt the old urge to comfort her, to soothe her pain and fix the mess between us. But then, the painful memories rushed back, the mocking videos, the hurtful laughter, the cruel broken machine comment. Before I knew it, Lisa started speaking, her words tumbling over each other. She was sorry. She insisted. Therapy had opened her eyes to the harshness of her actions. Losing her job and facing our divorce had brought her a sense of humility. She missed me, she said. Her new relationship was a disaster because no one knew her like I did. Then she said something that caught me off guard and made me laugh out loud. She claimed she'd never find someone as patient and kind as me again. Patient, that word seemed to speak volumes in itself. Was that my defining trait for her? Merely tolerating her? Here's where I surprised even myself. I didn't stutter, My words were clear and assertive. I calmly told her how patient had indeed been patient, while she mockingly filmed my struggles. Patient while she and her father laughed at me during Christmas dinner. I had run out of patience. I explained that her apology felt hollow, motivated not by genuine remorse, but by what she had lost. I made it clear that the divorce would soon be finalized, and this encounter, right outside my window, would be our last. As I spoke, I watched her expression change, from desperation to a hardened resolve. She accused me of cruelty, that I derived pleasure from her suffering, even suggesting I had orchestrated her firing in revenge. Unfazed, I closed the window and drew the blinds, cutting off the confrontation for good. 20 minutes later, Madeline texted to say she had picked up Lisa and they'd left. She apologized once more for the situation. This morning, I woke up with a sense of, it's funny how life sometimes hits us with unexpected clarity. I finally mustered the courage to say what I needed directly to her face, and a strange yet liberating sense of lightness washed over me. My speech therapist always said my stutter flares up when I'm anxious or feeling judged. But as I stood there, staring at the person who once caused me so much heartache, I didn't feel anxious or just resolute. In 3 weeks, the divorce will be finalized, according to my lawyer's latest email. I'm taking a much-needed week off to visit my parents once it's all over, their first real vacation in 2 years. Life's not perfect. I still stutter now and then, and my kitchen sink insists on leaking despite my best efforts to fix it. But I'm moving forward. To everyone who has been with me from the start of this journey, thank you. Your support has meant more to me than words can express.